9 years after its introduction, the current generation of Mazda's compact crossover is still rocking so hard that it's the brand's best-selling model in North America, even though its discontinuation was planned long ago and the successor has been around for a while. Now it's time for a fresh set of updates and a complete redesign, which will keep the well-known nameplate up to date. Stay with us and see how the all-new 2026 Mazda CX-5 is about to disrupt the auto market again. Change of plan. If you check Mazda's plans from a couple years ago, the CX-5 should have already been in history books as a discontinued model. The company had the idea to replace it with the CX-50 and introduce a new naming policy. But buyers don't seem to identify themselves with the new CX-50 all that much. The CX-5 remains their favorite, so big that it's still the brand's best-selling model in the US market. With that in mind, no one was surprised with this plot twist when Mazda announced the new generation. Simply, why would anyone discontinue its most popular model? Instead, the logical decision would be to redesign it, and that's exactly what's been going on. Mazda is working on the new generation, and soon enough it will, we have no doubt, impress the crowd just like the current model has been doing for a long time. Evolution is the key. Here comes another logical outcome. With the commercial success in mind, as well as the fact that the current model still looks very attractive after all these years, it was kinda expected to see an evolution of the current design rather than some kind of revolution. Therefore, even though the test mule still wears camouflage, no one doubts the further development of the famous KODO design language. After all, the camouflage may hide certain styling solutions, but when you look at the model's overall shape, it's unmistakably a CX-5. The overall proportions are the same, while the key changes are on both ends of the car. But even there is no room for anything significant. The familiar layout at the front is still there. It's just that the grille now looks a little bit more aggressive while the headlights are narrower. Furthermore, the front bumper utilizes a more aggressive shape, highlighted by new, pretty massive air intakes. On the other end of the vehicle, the camouflage can't hide the new taillights completely, which also brings a slightly altered shape, sharper and more aggressive, while the rear bumper also brings a sharper design, following the stylistic approach from the front. Speaking of evolutionary changes, another aspect of the CX-5's design to address is the chassis and suspension. This has been Mazda's thing so far, as the CX-5 is probably the sportiest compact SUV on the market, at least when it comes to mainstream products. Well-balanced chassis along with well-designed suspension ensure a pretty impressive level of athleticism. But the thing that we like about the current model is that sportiness hasn't been achieved simply by affirming up the suspension. No, it's pretty refined and provides a pretty smooth ride at the same time. Furthermore, the steering is precise and has decent road feedback, so altogether expectations from the new generation are high, as it needs to be at least as good as the current model. For that reason, we are pretty sure that Mazda won't be changing too many things in this aspect, and that this will be yet another area with subtle, minimal changes compared to the current model. Interior design. Mazda models are anything but one-trick ponies. They attract customers in so many ways, starting from attractive exterior designs and impressive driving experience. But Mazdas also stand out with their amazing interiors, which are pretty much at the premium level in terms of style, materials, and overall build quality. And the CX-5 is particularly impressive in this aspect, much more than its successor, the CX-50. Not that we say that the CX-50 is bad, it looks very stylish, very premium-like. But somehow, the CX-5 seems to feature better build quality, more attention to detail, etc. It may be because of the fact that it's still assembled in Japan, whereas the CX-50 is American-made, assembled in Toyota's plant in Alabama alongside RAV4. The CX-5 is expected to continue to be assembled in Japan, so we expect the build quality at least to remain at the same level. This means a mix of elegant aesthetics and soft-touch materials with a lot of attention to detail. But certain reports also suggest a new curved screen, similar to units found in the latest BMW and Mercedes-Benz products, where rectangular instrument cluster and infotainment screens are integrated into a single unit. Also, it is expected that the CX-5 will adopt Mazda's latest tech features, such as Amazon Alexa voice command integration, panoramic sunroof, and Mazda's driver personalization system. Something we saw in the CX-60 for the first time. a system that allows you to adjust settings like seat position, climate control, and mirrors to individual driver profiles. Speaking of new technologies, the 2026 Mazda CX-5 also gets important updates in terms of advanced safety systems, which is kinda expected, considering that the current generation has been around for so long. It did get certain updates, but now it's time to go to the next level, which means not just more standard equipment, but also some brand new systems, including a new semi-autonomous driving system that would make its debut in this particular model. New hybrid powertrain on the way. This redesign will be mostly evolutionary, but that doesn't mean that all of the changes are going to be subtle. No, some of them will be pretty big, especially under the hood. For the first time, the CX-5 will see some sort of electrification. More precisely, it should come both in self-charging and plug-in hybrid versions. And while the latter is something Mazda already produces and installs on models like the CX-60 and CX-90, self-charging systems haven't been its thing so far. After all, the new CX-50 uses Toyota system, the exact same found under the hood of the RAV4. Logically, the new CX-5 should follow this path. But it won't. Instead, Mazda is developing a completely new system, the first in-house self-charging hybrid powertrain. Details are still unknown, but considering that Mazda didn't want to use Toyota's technology, it's easy to conclude that things are about to be notably different. Could this mean that there will be a rotary engine that acts as a generator while electric motors move the wheels? It's likely, but we won't exclude other possibilities. Besides the all-new self-charging hybrid system, most experts believe that Mazda is also about to offer a plug-in hybrid setup. It's something Mazda has already been doing by installing such setups in bigger models like the CX-90. So we see no reason why such a powertrain wouldn't be offered in the CX-5 as well. After all, there's a solid number of direct rivals available as plug-in hybrids, starting from Toyota RAV4, Ford Escape, and Mitsubishi Outlander. Next-generation gasoline engines. Mazda has also been a company that goes against the industry trends, and the powertrain is probably the best example. This company never went into downsizing and has been resistant to electrification a lot. But now, with new emission standards in mind, it's bringing new hybrid options for the next generation C5. Does it mean that gas-only versions are gone? Let's take another look at the test mule and its rear end. There you can see a massive exhaust system that clearly indicates that Mazda has no intention to give up on internal combustion. Instead, it works on the next generation gasoline engines, which will be called the Skyactiv Z. Details about the new engines in terms of power, displacement, induction, etc. are yet to be revealed. But what we know for sure is that the Japanese automaker is about to use the Lambda 1 combustion method. That means that the new engines will have an ideal air-to-fuel ratio, which ensures that all of the fuel burns without excess air. In practice, this should bring noticeable improvements in fuel efficiency and reduce emissions. Furthermore, such a design would also ensure better thermal efficiency, which translates to smoother power delivery, better throttle response, and better overall performance. Most likely, the new engine will be just like the Skyactiv G, offered both in naturally aspirated and turbocharged variants, with the former being reserved for more basic variants and the latter providing a similar or better level of performance than the current 250 horsepower 2.5-liter Turbo 4. Keeping things affordable. People love the CX-5 because it offers so much for the money. It's stylish, well-built, with excellent driving dynamics. But none of this will mean much if Mazda doesn't manage to keep their prices under control. One of the problems with the CX-5 in particular is that it's a Japanese-made car, not an American-made product, which means it could face additional tariffs in the future. Therefore, it's no surprise that the officials already had a press conference where they announced a new cost-cutting plan. The general idea is to flatten hierarchies in the supply chain and reduce unnecessary costs between hierarchies. Also, one of the goals is to reduce transportation costs by moving component assembly closer to the customer. According to the officials, this will improve cost efficiency in CX-5 by 6% compared to the current generation, which will definitely have a positive effect on the model's pricing policy. The current model starts at around $28,600. And most experts agree that one of the things Mazda needs to do about the next generation CX-5 is to keep the base model under $30,000. Soon enough, we'll find out if that's possible. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.